Okay, hey y'all.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Yes, this is the Empty Nest Quest Valentine's edition.
Yes. I was going to do my bow chicka wow wow.
Yeah, that's right. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Yes. Valentine's Day is this Friday. And yeah.
I don't know. Y'all know we're just in the mood to cut
Mhm.
up a little bit because life is just a little too lifey. And so we need
Way too many serious things going on. So we're going to
so-
talk all things Valentine's Day and maybe what we like to do on Valentine's Day with our special someone and maybe some funny stories about
Yeah.
some of our past Valentine's Day. And we'd love to hear from y'all too. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, please tell us.
Yes.
Please tell us your best and worst Valentine's Day stories. We need them all.
Oh
We
my
need them
gosh.
all.
So how have you been, Melinda?
Pretty good. Yeah, just it's been just a lot happening. Like Johnny and I both like wanting to, just run back and forth to our parents and be with them, and they've got stuff going on, and then yeah, just kind of like a weird, like lots of doctor's appointments kind of stuff.
Right.
And that, isn't it funny how that just throws you off?
It really
Like
does.
it really does when somebody in your
Mhm.
family's got something going on. So
It does. It's
we've
well,
had
and you
some of
just,
that.
it becomes all consuming because you think about it, you want to help.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just can't do anything.
Yeah.
All you can do is pray and be there for them if they need you. And so it is hard. It's hard having older parents that you want to, you just really have to give up that control.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I just think, for myself, I just have to remember all the things that keep me sane. And so I've just been taking like some nice long walks, and that has honestly been so helpful, and probably reading a little too much. I don't know how many hours I'm clocking a day on my Kindle, but
hey, that's good.
But that is like my winter.
I don't think that counts as screen time.
Oh,
I don't think
thank
your
you.
Kindle counts as screen. I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Then I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
Then I'm
good,
doing all right.
good,
What about
good.
you?
It's been good. It's been, crazy. January was, it was just not a good month. But you know what? February is
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We said we were going to do it at the beginning of every month.
Absolutely. It's funny. My
Happy February.
my assistant principal, she said, you know what? I think the beginning of February, we're going to have like a New Year's celebration.
Yes.
I'm going to go.
It is the Chinese New Year.
Hey, I mean, I say let's go with it.
That's right.
It is, because this is just, we are going to start anew in February. So, but yeah, it's, it's good. Just counting my blessings and just trying to do one of my ends that we talked about a couple weeks ago, is letting go of that control. So it's a work in progress.
I love it. I love it.
It is a work in progress.
Well, while you say that, so what kinds of things do you do to help yourself?
So Mike and I have been doing this, I guess it would be a book study on the 40 Days to a Joy-Filled Life.
Right.
Tommy Newberry is the author, and it is so amazing. It really has been so powerful for both of us. We don't read it together, but oftentimes what I do, I think I talked to you about this, I'll get up and I get up so early that I read it first. And so I'll underline or I'll highlight and put stars. And so when he reads it, he kind of sees what stood out to me and what's important to me. But it is every single day. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a great, every day I get a good takeaway. And I'll often like take screenshots and send it to my kids. Stephanie has actually done the book study before, and she's the one who told me about it. But it has been,
cool.
I recommend it completely. And I could even see us doing a podcast series.
Oh, fun.
A book study on this, because it is so great. And one thing that I took away this past week that I've thought about every day, when you think about something more than a couple times, it's like, oh, that was really powerful.
Yeah, like God's putting it on your heart.
Yes. Yeah. And one thing they said is your thoughts that is up to you. And you have to be very intentional about what you are putting into your mind. And one thing they said was, you can only have one thought in your mind at a time. Sometimes I think we have so many things going on in our life, and especially with social media and having our phone, we feel like we have all these thoughts, floating into our mind at one time. But they were like, you can only hold one thought in your mind at a time. What that thought is up to you. So they gave several scriptures to repeat to yourself, or if you have a certain song that you can sing. And I have really been focusing on that, because I have found that if I really am intentional about positive things and quotes and scriptures and podcasts that I listen to, if I am very intentional about that and keep it positive, it has such an amazing effect on the rest of my day, to where if something is negative that happens, I don't react as negatively as if I would have.
Yeah.
If I didn't do the work.
Yeah. It's so funny you say that. I just heard Martha Beck talking about this, because she has a new book out called Beyond Anxiety. And I just started listening to it, so I can't speak a ton to it yet, but I just love her. And she says one of the experiments she has clients do is to think your kind of extra detrimental thought that you have, like whether it's that you wake up and you're like, how we all kind of have our go-to bag of icky thoughts. It might be about the way you look. It might be about money. It might be about your spouse. But she said, so I want you to kind of think of one of those ick ones.
Right.
And I want you to walk in your like favorite little coffee shop in the morning and get your coffee. And I want you to notice how you perceive the coffee shop.
Yes.
And she was like, and then I want you to go back next week or tomorrow, and I want you to flip that and tap into something that you can actually believe, that resonates with you, that is true, that is good.
Right.
And think that and fill yourself with that, and then walk in and notice how you perceive the coffee shop. And she was like, the thing is everybody's mirroring back to you what you're projecting out. And that is kind of hard to swallow when you're in a bad place. And I just want to say, if you're out there and the positivity thing just feels like debilitating to hear somebody say, let me tell you my hack on this. And then we will get to the Valentines, but this is so important.
And I think sometimes it can feel superficial.
It can, and that's what happens to me.
I think people think it's like, why would I do that? That's
sometimes
fake.
It feels too. Yeah, sometimes you're just a little bit misaligned. And so you can reach for like the verse or the quote or the song, and it works. And sometimes you're a little like, the despair is a little too much. And you're like, I can't think of anything positive.
Right.
And so this is one of the tricks I used to do with the girls when they were little, and they'd kind of be on an anxious spin out, and I do it for myself. I will say, is there any way that you could just crack the door open, just open the window a little bit? And is there a possibility that things could go a little bit better than you think? And that's all you need, is to be able to just crack the door open. You don't have to fling it wide open. I mean, flinging it wide open is amazing when you develop that skill. And I do think you have that skill. I love that about you. And I think you have it. But a lot of times I just think, and I also know you've been in places where you can't fling the door wide open, right? We all have. Right. But I love
until you hear my Valentine's story. There was no flinging anything open.
But I just want to say, instead of like railroading yourself with something that feels unrealistic, like jot down a few things. So maybe jot down the one you wish you could believe, like, everything is going to go my way today. And then you're like, all right, I can't get behind that. I am not, a Disney princess. And so then you write down a few, today's going to go better than I think. Like, that's what I ended up landing on years ago when I was doing some self-development work. I was just like, oh my gosh, why can't I think of anything positive to say? I was just in a rough place. And so I just kept the word possibility is what I put in every sentence. It is possible. It's possible that I'm wrong. It is possible that it's not as bad.
Right.
It is possible that things could go way better than I think. And I am here to tell y'all that every time that I have said that to myself enough to where my brain finally was like, yeah, it is. It is possible that this is not going to be as awful as I think.
Right.
It is unbelievable how all of a sudden the help shows up, or all of a sudden I get like that nudge, that intuitive nudge that I know is like the Holy Spirit going, yeah, I was here the whole time. You just couldn't hear me over your negative sound system you got playing.
Or here is that person that
Yes.
is, going to make the difference in your
Yes.
life. Or here is that idea.
Yes. So I do think that you just, I love having a little arsenal of, and if you can find something that feels even more moving to you that attaches to that, like you said, like a song or scripture or a poem, or even just like a picture, you know, a lot of people are really visual, and it's nice to just have a little picture that they can keep in their car,
Right.
or on their,
And put Post-it notes. I love to put little quotes or words of encouragement on Post-it notes for myself. I have them on my desk at school, just little personal, even if it's just one word that will
This is
remind
one of mine right
you.
here on this computer.
Yes, you have it right there. I mean, it's so important to have those tools in your tool belt when you don't need them. Don't wait until you need them.
Very true.
And that's what it's funny. I had a conversation with one of my students last week, and she's having a really, really hard time in math. And so I'm giving her strategies that will help her on any test. And especially, of course, we're in the state of end of the year test still. And so and I'm like, and I explained it to her, I'm like, you have a tool belt. You can't see it, but you have a tool belt around your waist. And I am giving you tools to put in that tool belt now. We're not waiting until the test. We're not waiting until you need them. We're putting them in there now. And I think it's very similar to what you said. Put those tools in your tool belt when you don't necessarily need them, so they're available when you do. And I love the idea about cracking the window open. That is such a great tool to have. And when you do get in that place where you feel like you can't breathe and that things are not going your way, open that window just a little bit. And is there a possibility that things are not as bad or won't be as bad as what you think? So,
yeah. And sometimes it takes before you can even, sometimes before you even get your mind around words, it might be that that you need to get outside, or that you need to call a friend, or that you need to, whatever. It's like you might need to like shake things up a little bit for yourself to help you, because sometimes the worst thing we can do is keep sitting still and letting the ruminating thought take over and over and over, because the anxious thoughts, we definitely need to do an episode on this, because anxious thoughts really spider out, and they truly sort of like numb your whole brain.
do.
So I love that. I love that you're doing that study with Mike and with Stephanie. And I'm going to keep hearing more about that. But okay, so y'all, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day.
Now, what do you and Johnny do on Valentine's Day? Do y'all have
Okay, but here's why. Y'all know my man is so sweet.
It's been so commercialized. And I feel like a lot of people are like anti-Valentine's Day.
Well, listen, we're the OGs of anti-Valentine's Day, because Johnny and I started dating in college. We were babies. We started dating when we were sophomores in college. And so our very first Valentine's Day, we had been dating almost a year, and I had just come home I had studied abroad for a semester. So I'd been gone for like a really long time. I left in July, I didn't get home till December. We literally wrote letters through airmail and talked on the phone twice.
Aww.
Really, I feel like I'm, like when your grandparents used to talk about like writing letters to their loved ones that were in the army and the war. I feel like my girls think that our story's like that. And I'm like, no, it really was not that extreme. I was just studying abroad. Nothing serious was happening. But But we truly did. Like, we have a whole box
Oh,
of,
love
I know,
that.
written on that airmail tissue paper.
Yes, that's
And
so
boy, let
awesome.
one letter get out of order, and it was so confusing. I'm like,
Wow.
what? What are you talking about? What happened last letter? Shoot! And so anyway, it was fun.
That's
It
so
was fun.
cute.
I know it was a great way to develop
I love
communication.
that.
So I've gotten home. It's Valentine's Day, and so we put all this pressure on Valentine's Day because we wanted it to be fun. And by the time we got together, we were both so stressed out trying to make each other, because we're also in college and we're broke as a joke. So you had to. We're trying to be creative,
right?
So I was trying to make some little crafty something for him, and then I did it, and it just looked dumb. It was so cheesy looking, and I was like, I can't get him this goofy. I remember what I did. I bought a flower pot, and I got little tongue depressor, like little popsicle sticks, and I did little hearts, and I was going to do all this. Well, you can, like a first grader project. Right. Yeah. And so then I was like, can I take this to him? This is so embarrassing. And he had done something for me. And anyway, when we got together, the best part of the whole thing was we were like, I'm embarrassed to give you what I got you. I'm embarrassed. Like, I don't know. We both were and we had never been awkward before, you know? And Johnny goes, okay, what is going on here? We cannot let Valentine's Day be the thing that like takes us down. Right. Like, we're too fun for this.
Yes.
And so anyway, we ended up deciding, we literally shook hands. We were like, we're about to go get some chicken fingers and fries. We're going to go for a run, get chicken fingers and fries, and we're going to shake hands that as long as we're together, we are never doing Valentine's Day again.
Right.
And we stood on that until about 2 or 3 years ago, when little Anna used, her magic way with words and said, hey, Mom and Dad, it's really kind of sad that we have these parents that like don't do Valentine's Day. And we need an example of parents who show us they love each other and do things. And we were like, OMG.
Oh, gosh.
So Johnny was like, I take you girls, like we do something Valentine with the girls and like give them Valentines. But she was like, yeah, but what about y'all? So for the past couple of years, we'll do something around Valentine's Day-ish and take the girls to dinner and do something where Johnny takes all his Valentines to dinner.
Yeah.
But we have just moved away from it. And I love it for people who love it.
Right. I do too.
I love it. I think holidays are so fun. And if you're one of those people and you just know how to do it and it's fun,
right?
Please like be my friend and share your story, because I love it. For Johnny and me, though, it just puts us in a place that we don't need. I
think it can give you like the false expectation. All the false expectations are out there, and it's like the Hallmark. You think about, okay, what is my Hallmark Valentine's Day? Well, that's just not reality.
But now that we're talking about it, I do sort of want one of those hearts with all the chocolates in it.
I know.
Well, we should be eating that.
Do you know what I do though? Is I always poke down the bottom because I don't like the orangey ones.
But 100%. You got to
so
look
nasty. Yeah. So I love the caramel ones. Caramel with sea salt. Sign me up.
Yes, me too.
But
okay, but you have a Valentine story.
I have a funny Valentine story. So this is after my first husband and I were divorced. I talk about like first husband like I have 5 of them or something. This is only
her first of 11.
Yeah. This is only my second marriage, my second and last. But after my divorce, it was on I was single for Valentine's Day. And so I went to, I was at Lenox Mall. I was staying with my parents in Atlanta. And I was at Lenox Mall, and I was like, I'm gonna go see a movie. And I had not seen a movie in years. I didn't really keep up with what was playing. I really didn't know what was going on. So I was like, well, there's this movie, 50 Shades of Grey.
I swear I was about to say, did you go see 50 Shades of Grey on Valentine's?
By myself. On Valentine's Day.
That's hilarious.
I felt like the biggest loser around. It was hilarious. I was on the end of an aisle, sitting next to it was packed. I mean, it was Valentine's Day. I was sitting next to a couple. I was like, this is the low. This is the lowest of the low. this is bad, and so it was funny.
That is hilarious.
And I really didn't
Jennifer.
know. I mean, I knew it was like a couple-y I didn't knew it was a couple show. It was about this couple had no idea that it was like, a little risque, to say the least. I was like, okie dokie. Well, I'm going home.
You're
by
like, if
my-
that's what I'm missing, I'll just miss
I
it.
think I'm done.
That's so great.
But yeah, so that was, and then Mike and I met in March, and yeah, but Mike and I, we don't have like unrealistic expectations for Valentine's Day. We give to each other cards, and we try to do something Valentine's Day-ish, but if it doesn't, we do it when we want to.
Right.
Like, we will never go out to eat on Valentine's Day. I mean, that's ridiculous. Everybody and their brother is out on Valentine's Day, and and then it seems like it's more expensive, and it's just, I don't know.
I know.
And then I'm not a really big flower person.
I'm not either.
I really don't.
Johnny won't give me flowers because I scared him so bad when we were dating.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, don't be just trying to say every emotion with a bouquet of flowers. Just be a man and talk to me.
Yes.
And he was, so even the girls we talked about it over Christmas. We were at the beach, and Anna's boyfriend said something about flowers, and Johnny goes, "Don't ask me. I've never given Lloyd flowers." And he was like, "What?" And
I like random flowers.
I want flowers sometimes, but he's scared. He's like, "You're not gonna get them from me."
I like flowers, but I don't like it to be like
over and over.
Oh, here's Valentine's Day. Here's anniversary. Here's this. I like it to be like totally random.
Right.
And that to me means so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, Valentine's Day, I mean, it's fine. But usually in February, I don't want a bunch of chocolate I'm still keeping it halfway together. I don't want to totally ruin things this early in the year. And so
she's got goals, y'all.
I say this, and I own a cookie dough company.
I know,
right?
But exactly.
So I highly encourage everyone to go out there and get cookie dough. Yeah, before this year, I've put together like Valentine's Day packages. I just don't have time. I mean,
but you know that now you just made me think like a fun idea if you don't want to go all the way out to dinner though would be just go get a sweet treat together. And
preferably at alumni cookie.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. And get yourself over to alumni cookie day.
Yeah,
but that, I never thought about just like doing something fun like that. That's little.
Yeah.
Instead of dinner or nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. I think just be more flexible and forgiving with each other. And I think if Valentine's Day is really important to you, I think that goes back to communication.
100%.
I mean, you've got to know what's important for your significant other. And if that is something that's really important to them, then make a big deal out of it.
Absolutely.
I think it's just important to be there for each other. And I mean, we can have Valentine's Day any day of the year.
And what I love more than Valentine's Day is Galentines stuff. I just love I love the girls stuff. Yes. And I've always loved doing stuff for my kids for Valentine's. Yes. That's just fun. Because I love that too. Cute and fun. Mm-hmm. And my mom used to always give me like heart jewelry.
Yes.
So I love like all of that. And I love doing things with girlfriends for Valentine's Day. But
for sure.
I think that's really fun. So my funny Valentines are, so when I was in high school, I know everybody's school didn't let them do this, but we were small town. You could send people flowers and stuff to school, and then they would hold them in the office for you. But you would get called to the office to come see them, and then everybody that went through the office would see your flowers and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so loved and popular. You got flowers from somebody." It was like such a big deal. And so my friends, and then did your high school do the thing where like some club did a fundraiser and you could buy the carnations?
Yes.
And like you would just feel like such a sad soul if you didn't get one.
I cringed every year because I was like, oh my gosh, I know that, you play it out in your mind. Like, I know that so-and-so is going to get like 25 and I'm probably going to get like one or two, or maybe even not any at all.
Right.
You just, you completely play out this mind movie in your head that most of the time doesn't even work out that way. But
Well, there was this
awful.
one year that my girlfriends and I decided we were not having it that year. We were not gonna be the ones that didn't get them. So we all sent them to each other. Like got
So
all these
cute.
like carnation. We even did the whole thing where we called the florist and sent each other
flowers. That is hilarious. Why didn't I think of that?
We were so over the top.
Oh
And
my gosh,
so
that would
funny,
have saved me a lot of stress.
Well, the funny
in high
thing was, is
school.
so then though, people in the office, because because we had like these people called office aides, and it'd be like 2 high school.
Mhm.
Well, then the office aides read your card, and so of course my flowers say like "Love Allison," and they're like, "Oh, you and Allison don't really have a boyfriend." Anyway, it was so funny. It was just so funny. Oh my lordy, it was so great. But yeah, we would always just try to pretend we had Valentines. So I think that also maybe tainted it for me in later life. But yeah, so I think I would love to hear what people do though. But I think that Valentine's Day can be kind of hilarious.
It can, and I think you just have to kind of. I mean, if you still have kids at home, I definitely love to do things around.
And my
Valentine's
parents
Day,
do Valentine's. They
Yeah.
do cards, they do flowers, they do
Right.
chocolates. They think it's hilarious, and they love all the lovey-dovey funny
Yes.
cards. I mean, they have a good time with it. They've always done it.
That's so funny.
It would be weird if they didn't.
Do what works for you.
Absolutely.
And then, don't have too high expectations. And for goodness gracious, do not go see a movie by yourself. And if you do, read the reviews before you go.
Oh, see the preview.
Lordy.
See the preview.
Oh my gosh. I will never forget that night. Ever. That was the longest movie ever.
That is
funny.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
I would love to be a fly on the wall watching you watch
so
that.
Funny. My eyes about bugged out of my head.
Oh my Lord.
So.
We will see you next time. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye.
Bye.